Hi guys, welcome back to Mama SOJ vlog. How you guys doing? If you are new here, you are welcome, and if you are returning subscriber, God bless you as you always come back to watch my video. My people don't be smart, you know, and I know some are different news now they land from my table, and as the news they come, that's why they carry and call you to come share with you. My people, for today's video, go to watch her together with you. All right, my people, we could go watch the video to see what really the apple for inside the video, my people.
Home. Well, let's go to it now. The U.S., the general elections, the Nigerian elections. You have come at a time, or you're leaving at a time when you also witnessed elections that have been described as the most consequential for Nigeria. You've also described them in those terms. Right. Why do you think they're the most consequential?
Well, I think you have to look at the where we live in 2023 in West Africa, right? So first of all, it's really consequential because just Nigeria is really consequential as the largest population and the largest economy. But you look at a West Africa that has coups and people hanging around for a third term, and those here, those standards of the democratic rules of the road are just part of the furniture. Everybody takes it for granted. People leave at the end of their terms. That's really, even despite all the frustrations and hurt hearts, if you will, of the last a couple of weeks with the elections. That really is something to be proud of as a beacon of hope in a larger continental sense. Certainly, yeah, you know, there were a lot of people who were frustrated. It's been an emotional time. Other people are happy and they're celebrating. I think the important thing to focus on is that, you know, there are ways to challenge things that you think went wrong in an election. And the president-elect has acknowledged and encouraged the right to do so. And the two major opposition candidates or the three, I think, are in fact taking advantage of those challenges. So, you know, that's why those legal processes are there, and we look forward to seeing those carried out to their conclusion. And we'll go from there.
Well, you encourage Nigerians, because you wrote an op-ed on this. You talked about the elections of February the 25th, and you asked Nigerians not to let the elections divide them even further. And a lot of people were hoping that there will be changes in the governorship elections. I don't know if you also paid a closer attention to what was happening in the governorship, and if there are areas where you thought there were improvements over the presidential elections.
So we're still, as everybody, kind of digesting the state elections over the week. I would say that from the perspective of process, it does seem that there were some improvements. You know, that results are being uploaded. You know, more stations, polling units opened on time, and so that's a good thing. That the promise that was a little robbed of the benefits of those technologies seemed to work better on the second time. So this is a good thing. You know, that shows you that there were some lessons learned and applied, and that's all one can hope after a period of disappointment. You know, I think, too, clearly there have been some disturbing reports about voter intimidation, vote buying, and particularly in areas that were highly contested. My impression is that people think that the turnout of voters was low, even lower than the general elections, which was pretty low. And that's disappointing. You know, if you don't vote, you don't have your voice. If you don't participate, you know, we talk a lot, we speak a lot here about inclusion and diversity, getting more women voting, making sure that you're accommodating the needs of people with disabilities so that they can vote. And really, it would be, I think, a lot of thought needs to be taken going forward about why more people didn't want to vote, what prevented them, and draw some lessons from that going forward. It should be something that every citizen rejoices in their ability to exercise their voice.
Well, you did say something about not letting Nigerians let the elections divide them. Right. It would seem that somehow these divisions have reared their heads again, and even in places as cosmopolitan as Lagos. I don't know if you had any concerns in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, I that's one of my favorite lines. Thank you for using it twice. Don't let the elections divide you, because, you know, you need to be a united citizenry moving forward, and whoever is ruling this country also needs to deliver for all Nigerians and provide support to all Nigerians. I will say that I found particularly some of the ethnically charged rhetoric that came out, particularly in Lagos, to be disturbing. You know, all ethnicities, all origins should have equal opportunities and should all be accepted by all. And I think that's a category of event that Nigerians should think long and hard about going forward, about how to remove that instinct, how you tamp that back, because it's, everybody has rights, and you want the rights to proliferate, not to be narrowed.
You're very worried about people, that's the players, especially politicians, playing by the rules. You want them to, stick with the rules as decided by Inec, as decided by Nigerians. Right. And oftentimes, when that doesn't happen, I mean, we've heard that it so happens. I think in the past you've tried to call out those whom did not do well by the elections by denying them visas. Is it something that you intend to use again this time around?
Yes. So we reiterated our visa ban policy in January, I think, which basically exists to take people who engaged in things like rigging, vote buying, voter intimidation, attempts to interfere with the independence of the judiciary, and makes them ineligible for travel to the United States, and often also their family members. So our visa laws, I think what people find so frustrating about the visa ban is that because our visa laws are confidential, we don't publish a list of, here you go. But I can tell you that I am personally aware of people who have been so banned based on behavior in last elections. And I know personally of people whose travel has been impeded to go to the United States. So, as we go forward, the allegations that are being discussed now of, untoward behavior will certainly draw our attention in that regard.
Okay, but you're not going to publish a list.
No.
Would we be able to rely on some of the hearsays that we've heard? Just wondering.
Well, no, our records are confidential, so I'm sure there are a lot of people who are speculating, but unfortunately, we're not able to confirm or deny any of those. Okay,
so let's talk about Nigeria's democracy. I mean, elections are supposed to be a show of how democracy is also growing and maturing. Right. And you've talked about how Nigeria is consequential. Big Brother is supposed to be showing example. How would you describe Nigeria's democracy compared with other African countries in terms of freedom of speech, in terms of the freedoms that it allows, and even in terms of its I don't want to say it's election, but it's selection process, but let's say election process. Let's say election process.
Well, as I said earlier, first of all, we really have to give Nigeria some props for being the place in West Africa that is not following the path of some of the other countries in the region in unattractive ways. So, yeah, a proud region, yes, there are problems. But I think, if you look from 99 to now, there has iteratively been improvements in the process. Improvements that in the first round broke people's heart a little bit because something that everybody was very much looking forward to see didn't work right away, and that was sad. But again, just the fact that now people who aspire to office understand that the citizens are looking for other voices, and it's not the same old show that it was before, and all of the political players now have to think about how they attract support from their citizens, and I think that's a really healthy thing. So, I'm kind of a glass half full kind of girl, and I think that there are many successes that you can look to, even along with some of the heartbreaks. And I think that, the change that we want is never as fast as we want it, but it's worth staying positive and trying to build on the improvements that have come and think about how to improve it even more, given some of the disappointments.
What are the areas that you would hope that Nigeria would be improving upon in her next elections?
So I think that already the fact that the technology fixed itself in the second round, or the technology got fixed and worked in the second round, is good, because I think people were really relying on that. I think that it's perhaps less of a technical issue, but maybe more an issue of milieu, if you will. I mean, the vote buying is not an attractive thing, and I think that there are many parties that were guilty of that. And I think that Nigerian citizens and Nigerian political parties need to perhaps rethink the relationship between the governed and those who govern. And I hope that Nigeria's citizens will become more demanding in that regard, and not look for it's one thing to get a small quantity of money or something on election day. It's another thing to have your government deliver the services and health and education that you need. And that's the sort of thing you would hope would inspire voters in the longer term, and you would hope would be the terms in which politicians phrase their démarche to the people.
All elections have happened between February and March. March is Women's History Month in the United States. We've celebrated International Women's Day. I think yesterday was Mother's Day. Mother's Day happens on many Sundays within the month of March. And we've only seen, so far so good, yes, women vote in the elections, but in terms of political participation as well, imagine as candidates, the figures have been disappointing.
Yes,
only 3 senators declared.
My people, now the video now on a new watch finish so. On a see what happen for inside the video. Alright, my people. I would like to end the video for you. Make una let me know waiting on a thing for the comment section. And if una never subscribe, make una subscribe so that una not go miss any latest gist way I dey upload. Now bye bye till I come on away next time. Bye guys, catch you in the next video. Bye guys.